Good Thursday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Chris Harapsky. Not sure if you noticed, super cold out right now. The coldest day of the season, with the wind chill making it feel like 15 to 20 degrees below zero. Make sure you dress accordingly if you're heading out today, especially the kiddos. We are warming up, if you want to call it that, into the evening. We'll check in with the weather team in just a little bit here. But developing right now, the Minnesota BCA is investigating a use of force incident near the Mall of America in Bloomington. Bloomington PD say that this started as a wrong-way driver incident near Old Shakopee Road and Killebrew Drive about 10:30 last night. According to investigators, officers tried to stop this vehicle and ended up having to use a pit maneuver to get the driver to come to a stop. That driver, according to police, would not listen to officers and get out of the vehicle, so officers fired pepper balls, they say. Then one or more shots, it's unclear, were reportedly fired from inside that car. So an officer then returned fire. The person in the car was taken to the hospital with a hand injury, and that's it, from what we understand. It is not clear what caused the hand injury. The Minnesota BCA is investigating exactly what happened. Happening right now, a new federal immigration enforcement is rolling out across the Twin Cities, targeting the Somali community. And now local officials are hitting back at the Trump administration. Nasera Kelvy has the very latest. Nas?
Chris, we're hearing from city, state, and federal officials after President Trump targeted Minnesota's Somali community earlier this week. Speaking to CNN, Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan said the president is targeting Somalis in Minnesota to take attention away from other scandals.
And ultimately, I think it's about distraction from the failed record of Donald Trump. People are deeply concerned right now about the cost of living. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to distract us. The conversation has started about war crimes this week. Oh, let's find an entire group of people to demonize.
Meanwhile, Congresswoman Betty McCollum sent a letter to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem criticizing the president's comments and calling for answers. The president's escalating racist attacks, calling members of the Somali community garbage, are vile, abhorrent, and below the dignity of the Oval Office, said McCollum. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey responded to the recent ICE surge with an executive order barring the agency from using city property as staging grounds. That order also provides signs for business and property owners who want to show their support for immigrants and mark their property as off limits for ICE activities. Chris, back to you.
We're also hearing new perspective from a college freshman at the U of M about the impact of President Trump's words and the attention from ICE. Bushra Mohammed is 18 years old and was born in the United States. Despite being a U.S. citizen, she says she can't help but to feel nervous that ICE agents may approach her. She says President Trump has created a distrust of law enforcement with this immigration detail. She says his hurtful comments have caused real harm for the Somali community.
I think there's a lot of fear right now and a lot of confusion, because it has been said multiple times that a lot of us are United States citizens. So the elders in our community are confused and they're scared for their children, and they just want some type of hope and understanding of the situation.
Bushra says that she's felt support at the U of M and from local elected leaders as well. Right now, the Trump administration's pausing immigration applications from people from 19 countries, including Somalia, according to a new policy memo from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The countries were already facing travel restrictions to the U.S. under a presidential proclamation back in June. The memo also puts a hold on all asylum applications, regardless of a person's nationality. All this after the president unleashed some harsh words about our Somali community here in Minnesota. So why them? Here's Jessica Hart.
Attacks against Somalis are nothing new.
If Somalis are attacked, we are all attacked, basically.
And Amano Dube,
that's how I believe,
would like to know why.
What you see is, it is unjust. It's un-American, blanketly targeting, terrorizing the entire community.
The target has been there for years. During a November 2016 campaign stop in Minnesota, then Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump said this about Somali refugees.
Some of them then joining ISIS and spreading their extremist views all over our country and all over the world.
He implemented a travel ban on Somalia in his first and second term. Last month, ended temporary protection status for Somalis, and on Tuesday said this about the first Somali American elected to Congress.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage.
Attacks against a small community with a big ripple effect. But why?
The honest truth is that it's because the president is a bully and he goes after people who are in marginalized communities to make them feel that they are small.
State Senator Zaida Mohammed says these attacks won't stop with Somalis and their contributions can't easily be erased.
We are in every industry, and Minnesota would not be able to survive nor thrive without the Somali community here.
We have business owners, we have people who are revitalizing neighborhoods that have been completely ignored, like Lake Street and other parts.
Jailani Hussein with the Council on American Islamic Relations says Somalis are an easy target because they are a black immigrant community who are Muslim. He says the conservative right wing is fractured, and this gives them an opportunity to unite, especially after Trump blamed Somalis for all of the fraud in Minnesota.
You know, these frauds existed for a long time. We know that they represent individuals, not our community. You know, there's 3 years of this cases. No one attacked our community in the way that it is being attacked today. So this is, we believe, an organized attack.
New today, the FBI arrested the person they believe planted live pipe bombs in D.C. the night before the January 6th Capitol insurrection. A senior law enforcement official says Brian Cole was arrested this morning. Investigators say Cole placed pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Convention headquarters in D.C. FBI leaders are still investigating. New today, Pentagon watchdog saying Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared classified information on a signal chat that could have endangered American troops. According to that report, Hegseth and other Trump administration members discussed a Yemen attack on the unclassified app back in September. Hegseth already facing additional scrutiny this week after a double strike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean, as some lawmakers say that second strike should be viewed as a war crime. Seniors across Twin Cities Metro braved the cold this week to protest cuts to Blue Cross and Blue Shield's Silver Sneakers Gym program. With the cuts, thousands of Minnesotan seniors will lose access to fitness classes at YMCAs and Lifetime Fitnesses next year. Sammy Selena caught up with some of those seniors who are asking their insurer to find a way to roll back its decision.
Showing up at the gym is a daily ritual.
We're all over 65. It's not just for our physical health.
For many seniors at the YMCA.
We're hoping we'll get some turnout.
But today,
we have 3 seats.
They're exercising their right
Wonderful.
to protest and make their voices heard.
It's everything to me. The Y is my life, my community.
After learning in the middle of open enrollment that Blue Cross Blue Shield will no longer cover YMCA and Lifetime Metro location memberships through the Silver Sneakers program.
Hi! Would you like a sign?
Terry Thomas is one of the organizers who orchestrated carpools across Metro gyms to bring people here.
When I started doing Silver Sneakers classes, I had just lost my husband. I was exhausted with grief, and the only thing I could do was I went and could do a 45-minute Silver Sneakers class, and it made a huge difference in my life.
She says that's why seniors are braving single-digit wind temperatures.
Tap to keep walking.
She points out while members can still access other gyms, they've made friends in their usual spots, and some people can't afford the membership without coverage.
As far as I'm concerned, my Silver Sneakers classes are more important than my prescriptions, and they're keeping me from getting more prescriptions.
Blue Cross cited high-cost pressures related to Medicare coverage as the reason for the change. Leaders met with Terry and other organizers yesterday.
I think they listened and understood. What we said to them is, can you figure out a creative way to make this less of a bad impact?
In a statement, the company said any change for 2026 is unlikely because of significant cost implications. But Terry says until change comes, they'll keep showing up.
Keeping their feet to the fire is why we're out here freezing our feet off right now to do that.
Sammy Solina, KARE 11 News.
New today, Russian President Vladimir Putin says terms in a U.S.-backed peace deal with Ukraine are, quote, not good enough, collapsing any negotiation progress there. Meantime, overnight, Russia slammed southern Ukraine overnight, injuring 6 people and forcing a massive power grid offline. Right now, officials in Ukraine are trying to get the power plant back up and running as cold weather moves into that region. On the negotiation side, the U.S. delegation has invited their Russian counterparts back to the table in Florida to talk peace today. Today, the Olympic flame, formally handed to Italian organizers in Athens, where the first modern Olympic Games took place nearly 130 years ago. The flame then made its way to Italy for the start of a 63-day, 7,500-mile journey through all Italian provinces before it reaches Milan for the opening ceremony on February 6th. Italy will host the flame for the first time in 2 decades. NBC's Claudio Lavanga has the latest.
Early this morning, the Olympic flame was handed over to the president of the Italian Olympics Committee during a ceremony in Athens, who then carried it on a plane to here in Rome. Now, the first stop of the torch this evening is the presidential palace, where it will be received, of course, by the Italian president, Sergio Mattarella. Then the actual relay will start on Saturday from here again in Rome, passing by some of the city's most famous landmarks, including the Vatican, the Colosseum, and the Trevi Fountain. And then from here, for the next 63 days, it will be carried by 10,001 torchbearers all across Italy for more than 7,000 miles until its final destinations in Milan and Cortina, the 2 host cities of the Winter Olympics, where on February 6th, the Olympic cauldrons will be lit in both places during the opening ceremonies. Now, the first time the Olympic cauldron is lit in 2 different cities, and of course, we will be there to witness this historic moment. Claudio Lavanga, NBC News, Rome.
Stick with us. More news, weather coming up after the break.